Hey there. It's been a while since I've done a pick and gut. Here I've got the CISA, or perhaps it's CISA, I think it's Italian. This is the AP3. It's a pretty cool lock. It has six main pins down the stack down here, and then it has a whole assortment of passive pins, but then one of them is actually active. There's a spring-loaded element in the key, and this will be the last one that I need to hit at the end. It's just like one of the passive pins, but it's a two-piece pin that has a tiny spring inside, and it essentially functions as a tiny sidebar. And the cool thing is that the gate for the sidebar, it's not interacting with another pin or anything. The gate is actually the rotation of the core itself. It's a pretty cool system. When I first got this, I didn't fully appreciate what Logan was telling me, that the main challenge is honestly just getting the right tools. I beat myself up over this lock for a long time, and it turns out that I just needed to make a couple tools for it. Now it's not that big of a challenge, but we'll take a closer look at the end at the picks I'm using. So this one, at first I tried being really subtle and precise and feeling everything, and everything is springy. You can't really find anything binding, and it turns out that all the way at the back, number 6 is a pin and pin, and the outer driver on that pin and pin binds first on mine. So you actually feel springiness, and then you start lifting and it feels like you're oversighting a key pin. But you really just got to jam that stupid jerk all the way up there. There we go, a little core rotation. And then the rest is a mixture of spools and kind of barrel T-pin things. Go through and set all these spools. Wait, where am I at? That was 6, 5, 4. Come on, 4. Who'd I just drop? Somebody dropped. I'll try that again. Let's start over. Okay, get up there, you stupid jerk. There we go. That didn't feel quite right. Okay, we got those 2 spools set, and then I'm going to go ahead and set these barrels anyway, even though they're going to fall back down when I hit number 1 as a spool, just so you can see how much counter rotation there really is. Okay, so now I've set everything but 1, which is a spool. That much counter rotation, and you heard both these barrels fall back down, so I just give them a few taps. There we go. So now everything is set except for the inner driver on number 6. Go back and hit that again. Come on, you stupid jerk, get up there. Come on, where? It can sometimes be a bit of a challenge just to get that last poke on this thing, because it's got to go way up there. I don't think I set it, but it's not making any progress here. I can go try the interactive, but yeah, I was expecting to feel a little more core rotation, so I'm just gonna go jiggle everything else. When in doubt, jiggle on everything. Just Just tap everything always. I don't have a spool on set, do I? Let's try this one. No. Okay. Right after I say the lock is easy, this thing gives me a little bit of trouble here. Okay, well, let's just check the interactive. Really easy to overset stuff, so I just carefully thread it through. Just got to slip under those 2 key pins up front that are really long key pins. Oh, somebody came down. Who knows, maybe that was a good thing. Get me back to a known state in this lock. Okay, 1, 2. So the key pins, the long key pins, ones that are under the barrels, the tops of the key pins are actually teed a little bit too. So it's really easy to overset. And if you feel any type of counter rotation on them, that's the key pin starting to cross the shear line, so knock it off. Okay, got a little core rotation there. The stupid barrels slip down a little bit again. Okay, check the pin and pin now. There we go. That's much better. Carefully work through, go all the way to the back, find that interactive pin, get right on it. And so it provides a little counter rotation like a spool. You really lighten up tension. There we go, that's set. But the pin and pin came down again. So this should do it right here. There we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock it back up. So I want to show you, well, let me gut it first, then we'll go over the whole thing. I can't find my reverse pliers, so I'm just gonna have to bend this guy out the hard way. There we go. All right, there's gonna be pins and springs everywhere. Let me make sure I get all my stuff. Okay, so when you get this thing, you have pins at 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. The safe orientation is the side of the plug where you can actually see the key. That goes down, and then that little tiny spring-loaded guy is over here. So cover it with your thumb as this comes out. Oh, and then I turn about that far. 30 degrees, maybe 45 degrees, because you've got the tailpiece to worry about here, but you don't want to go too far. Okay. And if that inner pin and pin driver gets caught, just give the core a little bit of a twist and it comes right out. That's getting stuck in this groove. So first thing I want to do is this little tiny pin. Terrified of losing the parts to this. Okay, There we go. Get these passives out. Fucker, come on. Come out. What are you doing? All right, we'll get these ones out instead. So these two sets of passive pins, they're different lengths. So you really have to keep them organized. Whatever, that one wants to stay, that one can stay. Oops. Turns out I can't count. All right, that one goes up there. So you can see these are the key pins that were reduced diameter at the top, which gives you counter rotation when you're oversetting. It's terribly annoying. Okay, drivers. Got a spool in one, spring. I actually have a mixture of different springs, steel and copper in here. It's kind of cool. Those are the two barrels. A couple more spools. And then pin and pin. Come on. We'll take a closer look at that. Okay, and then this little monster. How tiny that spring is. Not one you want to lose. Where do I want to put it? Actually, I'm just going to leave it right there. And so the way this works is, maybe I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we put this next to, move it up here. Put this next to one of its neighbor passives. So these two are side by side in the lock, and this is actually, this interactive guy is two pieces. So we have that tiny spring sits on here, and then this little floating cap completes it. And what that does is, here in the core we've got, so I was picking it this way, so these are your standard driver pins. These ones are totally passive. And then underneath, why won't that guy come out? I forgot about that. Get out, you little... There we go. And then underneath, you can see this over milling. So this is where that interactive one is sitting. And so it's directly in line with the main pins, but offset by, looks like just about one radius. And the way this works is the tips of these passive pins sit in this groove like normal, and they just kind of slip out of the way if you have the right key. But what happens here is, as you're picking everything else, you get into a false set, the core turns a little bit, and then this little two-piece, this cap gets stuck on this ledge, and so it can't retract as you're turning into that groove. It can't get pushed in. It actually, it's like a sidebar. And so when I was picking, I was just coming back and pushing on this guy to push it back into the hole a little bit, which forces a little counter rotation, and then the rotation I'm applying with the tension wrench is able to slip past and it goes right out. So that's how it works. The picks I needed were, this is one I made myself out of music wire. You can see it has a fair amount of reach and it has a nice curve. And the reason I've got that curve is because I was picking with the tensioner over here and just using that as my guide coming off this ledge. And as I'm slipping through, it's going in at like that much of an angle, and so the key pin rests right inside that curve, and then you get enough lift. And just as an idea for measurement, if I come from the bottom and kind of hit, key off of this, there's not quite enough. It's too long to clear the warding there, but just barely. And so that allows me to, sometimes I was doing this on pin number 1, is I would start lifting, and then once I'm inside the warding, kind of drop down, and then you can really get some lift on there. And the most trouble I had was on the interactive driver. Let me just kind of simulate it with a key pin that's not going to explode on me, or a passive pin that won't explode on me. So this is just one of the solid pins, but it's the same dimension. Let me bring some more light in. Oops, oh, sorry about that. So what I was doing is I found, sorry, I'm trying to decide how I want to demonstrate and what I want to do first. So I found that as I was coming in, for a lot of my picks, I was either the pick was too long, and so it was hitting over here to the side of the pin, and I wasn't being able to press it down enough, or it was too short, and the whole pick was flipping around inside the keyway and getting wedged in weird directions. And this was from either side, the right or the left. And so what I ended up doing is I made this pick. It's from the cheap Chinese ones. It comes squared off, and for once this square shaft was actually an asset, because I smoothed it all out, but I left just a little bit of that 90-degree edge right there. I left it intact, and so you feel it. There's actually a bulge, and what that is for is it sits right inside the top of the warding right there and kind of locks in place, and so I can lever off the top and help me push down. The smaller picks were, if the shaft was a little smaller in diameter, I was like I said, flipping around, and so this just really helps me get a nice repeatable press right where I want it. So yeah, there we go, the CISA AP3. Oh, also I'll link to a really great video from Talon who did a really nice analysis of this lock. Yeah, hopefully that helps somebody. Have a good day.